Welcome to What We Beat Last Week, the show where we talk about all the different medias we beat. I am Josiah, and I am joined by Rachel.
Hi.
Joey.
Hello.
And Nikki.
Hey.
Let's get into it.
What do we want to start with? We want to start with movies? Some movies we've watched recently?
Sure.
Let me flip to the movies section.
One thing that we've
so
all
organized.
seen, now that we're all caught up on this, is Wuthering Heights.
Yes.
Yeah, what do you think?
Well,
Funny you should ask.
I wrote a little blog post essentially in this little book that I got here. I felt like the part that people have been kind of saying is lame, where they kind of like people are kind of shitting on, they're like, oh, a bunch of despicable characters.
Yeah, that's what I said.
A bunch of stuff happening. That's the part that I kind of liked about it.
Do you like that they all sucked?
I like that everyone sucked.
It's realistic.
Usually whenever everyone sucks in a movie, it's because it's unintentional. Like when you're watching a horror movie, everyone says like, why would you try to run through there when you see a dead body or something, like, you know, something to that effect. They're yelling at people. If I were in that situation, I'd have grabbed a gun and I would just be sitting in a corner. I'd be waiting for the guy to come. Like there's always some kind of whatever people say. But this one, it just felt like we get to see terrible people do terrible things, and we get to watch sort of this beautiful train wreck of cataclysmic event after event lead to their sad endings. But other than that, everything else about the movie kind of fell flat for me. Definitely didn't go as hard as they could have. They shouldn't have had Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie be the two people, because I felt like there was just so many like contractual obligations that wouldn't allow them to do certain things.
Like what?
Like be naked.
Yeah, okay.
Show-
yeah, that pissed me off.
Show nip and peen.
Show me your balls. I want to at least see Jacob Elordi's ass. Like Margot Robbie has done full nude,
We know
but
what
she's
she
like
looks like.
this movie where like everyone's doing horny stuff. They're all licking each other's faces, and there's vomit and shit and rot. Like they had to like double down on everything else.
Yeah.
That was
They
the
didn't, like-
sexuality of the time, though.
They didn't even show us like whenever they were in the barn and the horse bridle.
Oh, that part I really did not
We didn't
like.
see any of it. We just
I'm
got
okay
to
with
hear
that.
it. There was everything that kind of could happen around actual sex kind of
and
happening.
I almost forgave it because, like, situationally, it usually made sense that we weren't seeing them naked because they were, like, illicitly fucking in, like, a carriage or something, and they were just quickly...
Corsets are a nightmare to put on.
Yeah, exactly. But in a scene where somebody literally gets naked on screen, we don't see it. They frame it like at her shoulders. Yeah, it was definitely a weird choice for such a sexually charged movie.
Mm-hmm.
It gave like the sexuality of like a horny middle schooler who's not ever actually had sex, which I think is Victorian sexuality in its essence.
And I feel like some of those fanfics of middle schoolers were even more spicy. Like maybe they don't have like the physical experience.
Made by middle schoolers.
But like they would have...
Not of middle schoolers.
Not of middle...
Yes. Let it be clear. Let's be clear about this.
Yeah, no, because like even them, they have like vivid imaginations about what they think sex is. At least with this, like these are all adults. We all know what it is. But you're just not. You're like, it felt like they were intentionally not showing us.
A lot of women didn't know what sex really was, though. So like,
Yeah.
I feel like it should get a little bit more credit for that specifically.
Well, if you, Josiah, appreciated The Misery,
Yes.
you would have liked it tenfold if it had actually followed the plot of the fucking book. So,
And you are my residential book person.
Yes.
So how much more did they dive into in the book?
well, they didn't even get into the second generation of it all, because really, what happens in the book is that Heathcliff
Yep.
actually like continues to be a haunting, horrible person in the second generation, like to the children of.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you don't even get that part, and the whole like dog thing that wasn't.
Well, so like, I can't think. Margot Robbie and the other guy had children.
Yes.
Edgar.
And there's
Edgar.
another kid, now I can't think of where this other kid even comes from, because they also cut out Kathy's brother from the book, which is also like a very important part of the whole plot and why Heathcliff becomes like an evil, horrible, vengeful person. So like we don't even get like that part of his backstory to understand why he's so hateful and is okay with this vengeance stuff. So I don't know. And also I could have done without the modern music.
That was always the worst part.
Charlie
is that something would be
XCX.
happening. You'd kind of be hearing some synth, and you would just be like, okay, whatever. Like,
Oh.
just kind of be in the background, and then all of a sudden she would just come in hard. You're like, God, this is crazy. It just
That did not
it
fit.
super take me out. It was wild. It didn't like enhance. Didn't make it feel more romantic. Didn't make
No.
it feel more epic. It was just really weird.
Obviously it was not period accurate at all.
Well,
It wasn't
XCX
trying to be.
didn't exist back then.
You're telling me
No.
that synth pop, girly synth pop, didn't exist?
There were lots of things that weren't period accurate about it, but that just like added to like making me a little mad and pulling me out of it and not having as much fun as I was hoping to have.
Yeah.
I had very low expectations, so I had a pretty good time. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't expect it to be some literary masterpiece.
I thought it looked nice.
It was gorgeous to look at. Everybody was beautiful.
Colors were good.
The heights were wuthering.
Yes, they were.
I feel like that was a lot of like. I feel like that's kind of a critique of a lot of movies. I feel nowadays is that you're like, oh, it's got great cinematography, it's got great performances, it's got great direction, it's got great like everything about it's great. You're just like, but I don't care about none of it.
Yeah, the script sucks.
Where's the story?
Script, yeah.
But yeah, other than that, the thing is like it's just like you have the that's just crazy, the extremes of everything else. That like I said, they're like we have to make it hyper dirty, we got to make it hyper like beautiful landscapes, all the rain and mud and everything, but we're not gonna even let you imagine that like, these things are happening.
Speaking of dirty,
Dirty.
You guys watched The Bride.
Yes, we did.
We watched The Bride, and so
It was an
thing-
adventure.
I have this movie log.
Oh wait,
where
what'd you rate Wuthering Heights?
Wuthering Heights. I did a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Okay.
I think
I liked
IGN
it
did a 3 out of 10.
I liked it more than that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Like a 4.5 out of 10?
I don't know that I'd be that harsh on
Okay.
it. I don't
Okay.
give a lot of ratings, but
Out of
I liked it
3.
more than
out of 3.
half.
There you go. Like,
I was gonna say, I think out of 3.
do you think like 2 stars?
I'd watch it again. Yeah, 2.
2 out of 3. Okay.
Yeah,
2 out of 3.
yeah.
Joey, what'd you rate it?
2 out of 5.
2 out of 5. Okay, so that's like a 4 out of 10, like me.
1 out of 3.
Nikki,
I gave it a 5 out of 10,
5 out of
but
10.
I could live the rest of my life and not watch it again and be fine.
The Bride. We just watched The
We
Bride.
like earlier
I
today.
I started the movie off very strong. I had this book, and I wrote like I kind of had like a blog post that I wrote in my book over here about Wuthering Heights.
Was your book underwater?
You'll
That's part
find
of the
out.
adventure.
I opened it up. I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I didn't do this last time. I didn't bring the book with me. But what I'm gonna do is I have this book with me now. I'm gonna take notes because there were so many times during Wuthering Heights where I went, oh, and I wanted to write it down.
Yeah.
Like, I had this reaction. And I wanted to write it down, but at the very first thing that happened was we get water at the
We just ordered water.
just ordered water, and she brings it to us and just spills it all over me. It
Base.
spills it on my book. Spills it. I
Base.
sat through the 2-hour movies. I'm still, my pants are damp to this moment.
I did not envy you in that moment.
But honestly, I was probably the best guy for that to happen to.
Yeah.
Because somebody else would have had a nightmare time with it. They would have been like, I want to talk to your manager. I wasn't
Okay,
singling
I
you
wouldn't.
out specifically.
I would not talk
I'm
to the
not
manager,
singling
but
you
it would
out
have ruined the
specifically.
experience
I'm saying,
for
like,
me.
Some other
Yes.
guy would have been like, what the fuck? Yeah.
We probably could have
I
asked
know
for,
you
like-
you wouldn't have had a good time with that.
We probably
I'm
could have
not
asked for
saying-
more of a discount, but
Just- yeah.
Give me a free app.
a
Give me a
comp or
free-
something.
give me a
Yeah.
free appetizer. I want those mozzarella sticks taken off. But The Bride was, I think it's the opposite of Wuthering Heights, where I liked it more than she liked it.
I really wanted to like it, and I had really high expectations for it. and I want to watch it again.
I want to watch it again.
We already
have
again.
plans to watch it again.
But it just like I was really hoping for it to like make some kind of statement at the end, and I think it tried to, but it didn't wrap it up in a bow in a way that I would have appreciated. There were still a lot of loose ends by the end of the movie in a way that I didn't appreciate.
And see, I feel a little opposite of it. I feel like it does kind of surmise some things. It leaves some things to the imagination, but it does kind of, I don't know, it kind of ties things together. It is weird though.
It starts off very weird parts.
It's kind of almost a little extreme at the beginning about showing, not telling, because it shows you some things and you're kind of looking at it and you're like, what is happening here? And then at first you're wondering, you're like, what? We live within the universe of the book, but also Mary Shelley's real.
Mary Shelley is in the movie?
Mary Shelley.
You gotta watch it.
Let's
fuck?
take out the spoilers immediately. Are you guys planning on seeing The Bride?
No, I don't. I think it looks like dog shit.
It's got Kristen Bale and
they acted their asses
Jessie
off.
Buckley is who played the bride. They did great, but Mary Shelley, like
I don't want to hear Christian Bale talk.
It was good
for 2.5 hours.
He did a good job
okay.
though. He did a good job.
He did talk like that the whole time.
He did talk like that though.
He
But
did.
Mary Shelley possesses this gal who ends up becoming the bride. And
Before there's any connection to Frankenstein at all.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Written Frankenstein in this universe?
Yes.
Yes.
So Mary Shelley, who has already written Frankenstein, takes possession of this gal, and in the same universe, Frankenstein's monster exists. Like Frankenstein was real,
And happens to be in the same city.
and he
in America.
just in Chicago.
America?
100
In America,
years later,
in
he's
Chicago.
like just hanging out. He's like, "What's
During
up?"
like the mob boss
he finds
era.
this doctor who has been studying Frankenstein's work, and she like doesn't believe him at first that he's Frankenstein's monster.
And then she looks
and
at
then
him.
he's like, "I want you to make me a bride. I want a bride."
Frankenstein's monster's bride.
But they do a fantastic. I think that everyone did it. It's kind of a similar thing where there's a little bit left to be desired for the story, where it kind of just becomes a Bonnie and Clyde movie.
I think that's
Of them,
a
like-
generous. Like I said that at the end, grasping at something else.
But that's like the trope it's
Yeah.
working with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the-
They're like
Jade
running
City.
from the law for
Yeah,
like
like
most of the
GTA 6.
movie.
Like Grand Theft Auto 6.
And so like, but there is like kind of a big secret going on. Like whenever she comes back from the dead, she's still possessed by Mary Shelley and herself, but herself doesn't have the memories.
Wait, she gets possessed before she died?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then dies?
and then happens to meet Frankenstein.
What
It doesn't make any
the
sense.
fuck?
And
Yeah,
That's
and so she
awesome.
gets possessed by Mary Shelley, who is like, yeah, like I want to come back. She's like talking about like there's gonna be a sequel. Is like what she's talking about, and then she's like, I had a brain tumor, and she's like, so like I think that's part of like she's having a hard time like saying certain words, and she like gets stuck on things. Like she'll repeat this like a similar sounding word over and over again, as like as
like
the
a
bride.
writer would. I
yeah,
think.
and she like kind of like gets stuck in it, and then it'll switch back to her. So like you can tell when she's Mary Shelley because she has a very pronounced British accent, and then it switches back to like a normal American accent for whenever she's the bride / the gal who lost. So it's like Frankenstein, like he starts off as like a child, but she died, I guess, recently, and she doesn't like a child's brain.
Okay.
And then like so she died, I guess, rather recently. So she only has amnesia as opposed to having to relearn how to talk and walk and
Sure.
be a person.
She remembers how to give a blowjob.
She gives
Never forget that one.
She gives Frankenstein's
There was
monster a blowy.
there was more.
And then he doesn't want it. He creates a monster to get his dick wet and then turns down a blowjob. Explain that to me.
I
It
think
doesn't make any sense.
The way that I see that is that he's like you're like a middle school, like you're a horny little middle schooler, and you're like I wanna do something, but I'm just scared of women and I can't talk to them and I can't ask for these things. And I don't really, once I get it, I don't know what to do with it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like I think that's what
Dog
kind of happens
chasing
at
a car.
first. And I think there's a lot of other things like they're on the run technically at this point, but I mean eventually they just have sex everywhere.
Yeah, that's
There's
fair.
like a montage of them, and then there's some pretty cool dance number.
The dance numbers I liked a lot, actually.
It was really funny. Jake Gyllenhaal appears in the movie.
What?
He's like an actor.
There are
in
so
Oh,
many-
well, it's Maggie Gyllenhaal.
There are
Yeah.
so
She
many
directed.
characters that they could completely leave out, including Jake Gyllenhaal, that I think the movie would be okay without. We talked about that character a little bit, about how people do idolize celebrities, and Frankenstein like watches movies and like that adds value to his life. But yeah, there was a lot of like loose end kind of add-on characters that were just like, oh, that's Maggie Gyllenhaal's brother.
Yeah,
There he is.
so Frankenstein's like a movie buff. He loves this one specific.
What year does this take place?
1930 something.
He's seen all 10.
Right.
movies.
Yeah, he's a big movie buff of this one guy. He's like the main actor in these movies, the big like song
Silver
and dance
screen
kind of
guy.
And so he's out there singing and dancing, and he's like following him. Like he's like, I love this guy. This guy's my favorite actor of all time. He sees all of his movies.
He sees himself in the movies, and those scenes are cool.
It's
He
kind
goes
of-
like black and white and wears the tuxedos and does the little
It
dance
does
moves.
what Joker Fully Ado was trying to do.
That's
I
the
think it-
vibes I got from.
I think it does
from
it.
the
It does it
trailer.
better though. I think it's better than Joker Fully Ado though.
I think, yeah.
I think it is
I
better.
was
Like
gonna
it
say
has.
something
It,
gross,
like
but yeah, I think anything is.
there
better
was
than
nothing.
Joker
I was sitting there.
Fully Done.
I would watch that movie. Joker.
It's one of the worst movies I've
Joker
ever seen.
2,
in my
I'm sitting there
entire
watching, and I'm like, this is horrendous. They butchered this. Whereas I'm watching this, and I go, well, some things are. This is not so bad. This is not so bad. But yeah, I mean,
Sounds very much then like Dracula in that the dance numbers were epic and
Mostly for
everything else.
promotions,
Yeah.
it felt like.
and it didn't.
But
feel
I
like
liked
it
them
was-
in both,
It
so
didn't feel
I'm
like
not
it
mad
was
about it.
super out of place though. Like with Dracula, like it was just mostly like him like showing off, like look at my cool perfume. Whereas in this one, they're already kind of playful and everything, and they sneak into this party and they're already kind of like flirting with each other from across the room, like taking shrimp and like little plates, and they're pretending to be servers and everything. But they look like freaks. I don't know.
because
But
they
I like her
are
makeup.
freaks.
yeah, her makeup was cool. His
thought it was
makeup was
kinda
cool.
You don't like it?
Nah.
I felt like it was kind of cool. I
They
like
didn't
that
do
just,
the Bride of Frankenstein hair.
Yeah, because
I
It
liked
was
it.
shocked,
Shocked,
but it wasn't black and white. Like
that's-
like the traditional.
but that-
He also had his bolts removed. Like they make a point of that at the movie. He's like, I took him out.
Great.
You do
okay.
see Frankenstein's stitched crotch, which is an interesting angle that I did not expect.
At first, I was concerned that they were going to show no penis. Like they were going to like remove it, and he didn't have a penis.
That would have been a
so-
wild
wait.
plot moment.
That's what I thought you meant.
No, like he had like you saw like that he was like stitched down there. Like they like Frankenstein like put one on him. Like
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and there's like he has like random like open wounds and everything on his
Ew.
body.
Okay.
And so she like takes off his pants and she's like pulling him down, and you can like start as they're getting lower and lower. You can kind of see that like
I see.
Stitched pubes.
stitched. Yeah, he's been stitched.
Yeah.
he's,
I see.
he hasn't been cut. He's been stitched.
What did Jesus. Oh, is that how you reverse?
Is that how you reverse your circumcision?
No dick. What did you? What did you rate it? Have you rated it yet?
don't
I would
know.
say I'm a little too close to it. I would say that I'm thinking like 5.5.
Okay.
Like I don't think it was inexcusably bad, but I think that it did some things more that I kind of liked more. But we're gonna watch it again. And
I was
so-
gonna say I want to watch it again critically, but I don't see myself rewatching it in like a fun way. So I'm gonna say like 4.5.
Okay. I just finished watching. Speaking of dicks, I just finished watching 28 Years Later.
Does someone
There's
hang,
dicks in that?
Someone hang dong?
There's an unbelievable amount of penis. Okay.
Okay,
I
wow.
might have to go. I should have rewatched 28 Days Later before I watched this. I don't remember every zombie being fully and completely naked in 28 Days
And
Later.
hung apparently.
I'm sure they weren't because that movie came out a while ago.
Yeah.
28 Days Later
Yeah.
it came out in like 2002 or something.
Yeah, so there just wouldn't have
They could
been.
be naked.
Well,
They had
sure,
nudity back
but
then.
yes, but definitely not the way it is now.
I don't know. Well, yeah, they like male nudity a lot more now. But it just so I don't understand. So for every zombie is fully and completely naked.
Okay.
In
No clothes.
28
Is it
Days
because
Later.
of like the passage of time?
I guess
That's
so.
more accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I guess it's more. They don't really get into why zombies are still alive 28 years later. I don't know if it matters. I don't know. I really didn't like this movie. It's not because of all the dicks. The dicks were fine.
The dicks were fine. I love
The-
the dicks.
They had an alpha zombie who was
Oh.
like a huge guy with a monster cock. It was unbelievable. Specifically, they chose this
Okay.
enormous guy with
That
this
makes-
huge dick to be the
Okay.
alpha. Yeah, I thought it was mostly boring. It had like an interesting interesting like editing style that kind of reminded me of 28 Days Later. I want to go back and rewatch that because I liked 28 Days Later a lot. 28 Weeks Later is dog shit. This is a lot better than 28 Weeks Later.
Okay.
But it's still not. I thought it was mostly boring. I enjoy that all of Great Britain is still infected by zombies 28 years later, and they just haven't done
That's
anything
just crazy.
about it.
Is it only Great Britain?
Yep.
Wait,
Yep.
that's so funny. Did an American write it?
Is Alex Garland an American? I don't
have
know.
no idea.
He wrote
That would just be like a funny
Civil War, I think.
"fuck you, Britain" kind of thing from an American.
I love it. I like to imagine in this world that the zombies. I like to imagine a world
He's a
where
British author.
That's even better.
Wow. I like to imagine a world where America is Dread, where it's just one irradiated mega
one
city,
mega city,
and then
yeah.
Australia is Mad Max, and then Great Britain is
Zombies.
28 days
Actually,
later.
that's like doesn't seem that far off.
This is
But,
Joey's perfect world.
Yeah, I think in real life, America would like nuke
Yeah,
Great
for
Britain
sure.
into dust.
Oh yeah, and not think
if there were
twice.
zombies, like there's just no reason. It's kind of interesting because there's still like survivors because they don't let anyone leave the island, I guess, at this point, the Isles at this point. So there are people just still living there, and they just have to survive. They can't leave.
Yeah.
And I guess kill themselves. So, Aaron Taylor Johnson is in it, who I don't really.
Okay,
He's
I
all
enjoy
right.
Aaron Taylor.
I like
Johnson.
He's all right. He was good in this, but mostly I don't really care about him. But Ray Fiennes obviously was amazing because he's amazing in everything he
Yeah.
does. He's a weird dude who collects bones and slathers orange iodine all over himself.
for the 10.
There's one good orange man out there, and it's Ray Fiennes in 28 Years Later. That was a review
That's
I
it.
saw on Letterboxd.
Love that.
But yeah, I haven't rated it yet, but I don't think I'll rate it very, very highly. It also ends. It's mostly not a full movie because they're planning to do a trilogy. And 28 years later, The Bone Temple already came out and made no money. So who knows if we'll get the third one?
Were they okay? So they're 28 years later was the first one.
Yeah.
Then Bone Temple would have been the second one.
Yeah, 28 years later. 28 years later, The Bone Temple is the second one, which is confusing.
Yeah.
I think audiences didn't even. They're like, oh, I thought that came out
there's a
already.
second one? I know, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, is that just like the I didn't realize they were making a second one.
I was like, is that direct to
And
Netflix?
that was-
But yeah, I don't know. I might watch that because I've heard that's good. But yeah, it sort of ends on like kind of a cliffhanger as like the first movie of a trilogy might. But I don't know. I'd probably give it 2 out of 3 stars. I don't know about out of 5. I haven't thought that hard about it yet.
2 out of 3?
2 out of 3 stars. Yeah, I don't think it was a 1 star, but I mostly didn't enjoy my time with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you watched it without me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mostly just had fun watching the weird, like, it felt like early 2000s editing style.
Oh,
It was kind of fun. I kind of liked it.
was it like just like kind of like silly CGI, or was it a lot of like
it was
camera angle stuff?
Camera angle stuff.
God, that's the worst. is,
Lots
like,
of Dutch
watching-
angles and, like,
Yeah.
weird, like, he did, like, weird freeze frame stuff. It was kind of just fun to watch that, but I mostly didn't care about the rest of it.
Nice.
Did you watch any other movies in the last weekish?
Have not
Past couple weeks.
actually, I don't
Me and
think.
Nikki watched 12 Angry Men.
12
Ni-
Angry Men.
Have you ever
Okay.
watched 12 Angry Men?
No, I know of 12 Angry Men.
12 Angry Men.
It's a 1957 film,
Yeah.
so you're already starting off strong. It was a,
So you're watching the original movie.
Yeah, I think the 90s one looks like dog shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be really good, but it looks bad.
It was excellent. It was. I didn't really know what to expect going in. It's kind of it's a jury of
Yeah.
12 angry men.
It's a courtless court drama where literally 99% of the movie takes place in one room where it's just 12 dudes talking about a case.
That's
And-
why they always do it in high school. Okay, you only need one stage.
Well, 12 Angry Jurors is that's the play, and then they changed it to 12 Angry Men for the movie, right?
I have no idea. I've never heard of that in my entire life.
Seems like a simple stage production.
But yeah, it would certainly be a simple stage production. The conceit of the movie is that there's a young man who is on trial for a crime, and it seems like he probably did it based on all the evidence. And 11 of the 12 jurors are like, yeah, guilty, sentence him to death. And one juror's like, I don't know. Not saying he didn't do it, but
Yeah.
But I have a reasonable doubt, and the whole movie is just him trying to convince the rest of them and them trying to convince him that he is guilty.
It's an interesting look at humanity, and I don't know. I thought it was interesting and well done. I wasn't like bored at any point, as I often feel with movies of this time period.
Yeah, even though it's like it's pretty slow, and like it also like takes its time and like I always say let scenes breathe, but it like lets you breathe after like all these arguments. They'll like happens multiple times where they'll argue, have a vote, and then like take a beat and like take a break or something, and like literally we're just watching dudes like fan themselves in this hot ass room for like probably like a full minute,
pace
like,
around, or
it's like nothing is happening for like maybe a full
dab
minute.
their forehead with a kerchief, or it's good though.
It is good. Some of the acting is a bit cheesy.
I mean,
It wasn't bad though.
It really wasn't bad. Most of it was really. Most of them were
I
really
like
good.
watching some of those older movies. I like the style of it because it feels
Yeah.
almost like stage plays. Like
Yes.
the way they move, the way they have to like direct themselves. Because that's kind of what it was, just shot on a stage, except there were cameras. So a lot of it, like the way they move, the way they'll turn, the way they have to properly speak and get everything across.
Yeah,
They don't talk
like mics weren't
this.
as good,
Yeah,
so
I know.
literally they had to articulate and project.
And that's why so many people in movies go, they're going to wear something like this.
yeah. That's why everybody has captions on in
You go,
modern,
what?
in current
You
year.
can't understand this guy because we're allowing him to whisper.
Yes.
Ever heard of rubber baby buggy bumpers? This had a surprising view of like racism at the time and what that meant and everything.
Yeah.
So it's also
It
like
asks you to imagine a man so racist that 11 other men in 1957 are like, "Whoa, you've gone too far."
Yes.
Jesus.
Dude,
So that's kind
you
of
gotta
like what
chill out.
it's like a racially motivated murder.
No. The suspect or the defendant is not white.
Non-white. We won't
Okay.
make any guesses because it's a black and white
Black and
film.
white film.
Yeah, we don't know.
Shouldn't make assumptions. They are non-white is what is important. And then they also get into like poverty, like putting impoverished people in one bucket of, well, then they're inherently more likely to be part of crimes and murder their own fathers and a lot of that stuff, which is surprising for a movie from 1957.
And it was filmed before women were counted in juries, so that's why it's all men.
And that's why I was going to say, whenever I said 12 angry jurors earlier, they rename it to jurors whenever there are women involved in the stage plays.
It's the PC.
Yeah, so
term.
it is by tradition 12
Angry
Angry
Men.
The teleplay, as they called it back in the day, was 12 Angry Men.
I see.
The original Star Trek intro says where no man has gone before, and then in The Next Generation they say where no one has gone before.
Where no one has gone before.
I gave it 5 stars and a heart.
5
that's
stars in the heart.
nice.
Hell yeah.
I gave it a 9.5 out of 10.
Nice.
I couldn't give it 10 out of 10 because I said Sinners was a 10 out of 10 because that's a perfect movie. So,
Wholeheartedly agree there.
I couldn't put it on this exact same level as that,
I think I also gave Sinners a 5.
Would it be like a
I think I gave
1950s
Sinners a
10?
9 out of 9, maybe even 9.5 out of 10.
I gave Sinners 4.5. I like Sinners a lot, but
Sinners is good.
After that, we watched
we watched Taken. Yeah.
Taken.
Hell yeah!
That's
now
a
we're talking.
a much
different
different.
movie that I don't need to have watched recently in order to know everything that happened.
Yeah.
I'm
a
never
much-
going to watch that movie.
It's kind of fun.
I
It's a
travel
much
alone
diff-
too often. No fucking thank you.
Well, they're fucking dumb, number
They are
one.
dumb.
I
Dude,
don't
that's
care.
the funniest part of the
I don't
whole
wanna
movie.
watch it.
Where literally he's like, "Okay, be fucking careful. Like things can go really wrong. Call
Yeah.
me." And
I know
like,
too many
let me
friends
know."
like that.
And then it's literally like outside the airport. It's
Jesus
like 30
Christ.
seconds after they get
No,
there.
they actually bump into him before they even get out of the airport.
It's literally like
Where they're like, be on the lookout for human
immediately.
traffickers.
Yeah, and
Jesus
the first
Christ.
thing they do is, yeah, we're staying there and we're alone.
And they're
Why
like,
would
and
I tell
he's like-
strangers
why
that?
don't you
And
come
he's like,
parties with
"Oh,
us?" And he's like,
cool.
yeah, I would love to come party with you guys. And they lied to Liam Neeson about what they're doing.
Yep.
They're like, we're just gonna go.
They're following U2
Yeah.
on their European
U2.
tour.
That's the
That's why they
biggest sin
get
about the movie.
kidnapped because of fucking you two. Jesus Christ.
But this all came about because Joey said that he felt like watching an action movie.
Yeah.
And, this is a pretty great action movie. There's the right amount of explosions. There's the right amount of car chases.
I think the
It's got Liam
pacing is
Neeson in it.
really solid.
Yeah.
Like it's mostly like Liam Neeson does some detective work, finds people, kicks their ass, does some detective work, finds people, kicks their ass, and so on for most of the movie.
He will find you and he will kill
I do
you.
know that part.
I think I love.
luck.
It's another one of these hyper competent characters who like.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what to do. He's got connections everywhere. He is always 2 steps ahead of everybody else. He's cool in every
He has a
situation.
certain set of skills that he's acquired over a very long career.
He's a torturer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole storyline with the trafficking and how horrific that is, I will say that
Yeah.
Yes.
is tough to watch, and we
Yeah.
don't really see
Because
a
they show it
resolution with
pretty
that.
Hardcore,
Yeah,
yeah.
Like the crate or whatever that they're all in. Like there's a bed.
Yeah, they're like in a
a
shipping
a
container.
weird room that a bunch of people are laying in. They're all
Yeah.
heroined up and they're like,
Yeah.
"Whoa."
It's horrible.
Yeah,
I was saying I don't understand the economics of that. Like, how much are those men paying to fuck these?
Lots. I mean, there's some people that just have unlimited money.
But they're but they just look like blue collar workers at this.
oh
like,
yeah,
at
because
this
they're like a
quarry
job site. Right?
Yeah, it's like.
I guess not too much then. But that's crazy that
But then they're like drugging them
all
up and
these
stuff.
blue collar workers they all have
Oh, I'm so tired. Time to rape.
time to rape, and they also just none of them let it out. None of them get busted. None of them get
Right.
There's no this has been going on for so long that these men go back home to their wives and they're like nothing's happened.
But yeah, it was a little weird they didn't resolve that, taking care of the whole sex trafficking ring. I wish they kind of addressed it doesn't matter. It's a stupid action movie, but he chooses to basically he didn't give info to any government agency or
Yeah.
anything, even though one government agency was in on it. He didn't try to stop this ring. He's like, I gotta save my daughter. It's like, well, now all these people will know that they're people are onto them and they'll motivate and get out of there.
He definitely inconvenienced and crippled the operation to a certain extent by killing who he needed to
Yeah,
get
that
to
is
his
true.
daughter. But
That is true.
Yeah, but no, he didn't
then
he
it's
wasn't
just women
I'm
stranded
gonna
in a
leave anonymous
shipping
tips
container.
or something. Yeah.
At least people come get them if there's still people alive.
Right. Yeah.
My favorite is Liam Neeson doing an American accent because you can hear.
Was he trying to do that?
Yeah, you can hear because he's not American,
Yeah, but he's not yeah.
but you can hear him. You can hear it slip out.
Yeah.
Just make him an immigrant.
And
he
Just make
easily
him- just-
could have been.
That's it. You don't have to necessarily make it placed where his accent's from, but you can just make him from somewhere else. You don't have to try to because there's certain words where you'll start to hear it. Come out and you're like, what was that? I heard that, Liam. You're being weird.
This was interesting though because I had never really sat down and watched it start to
Yeah.
finish. So little 2008 action movie really hit that spot. I think for me,
I give it 3 stars out of 5.
I gave it 7 out of 10.
I gotta look back. I
Generous.
think I've watched it ever since I've been recording what I've thought about movies. So
Give it a
maybe
watch.
I've maybe watched it and have taken note of it.
I will not join you, but I love that for you.
But yeah, it is.
Will we watch any of the sequels?
There's sequels.
Probably not. There's
Okay.
it goes up to Taken 3.
Is it the same daughter?
Yeah, there's Taken 3.
No, I think his wife gets taken.
Oh, Jesus.
So I think he gets taken in the third one.
Well, that's different.
Well, who
Okay.
helps him? Who saves him?
He has to save himself.
His
Oh my
ditzy
God.
daughter that got
Liam.
kidnapped.
I think the second one is his
Jesus.
wife gets taken because of because he didn't close the loop. They come back and they get his wife, and then he has to do that. And then I think the third one he gets taken, and
That's
he has to
awesome.
get his way out.
It's his ex-wife,
That's
by the
awesome.
way.
And the
There's
only
some.
thing
that's right,
I know
yeah.
about Liam Neeson is he has a giant penis, apparently.
Yeah,
So, that would
apparently.
be a reason to kidnap him, I guess.
He'd
I
make a
don't know.
great zombie.
This is just making me think of Knights of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yes, that also has a
That
giant
guy
penis in
has
it.
a giant
yes,
penis
it
in
does.
that one.
My mom started watching that and she was like, wow.
Sir Arlen's monster.
Didn't expect
truck, yeah.
that.
It requires a warning.
It's like a 1.5 feet long.
It's crazy. It's stupid big. Like that is insane. You're like, God, my guy. Do you like? What happens? Like, do you go catatonic whenever you get an erection? Like, what happens? You just lay
Get
there, like,
lightheaded.
I can't do anything with this. You
Definitely
gotta take care
has
of
a pituitary gland problem.
it. Ugh.
Did we watch any more movies?
Any more movies? Can't recall any.
Okay. Did you finish any? Did we beat any seasons of television?
I did, and I have a show I'm very excited to talk about.
Okay, what show is that?
Go on.
Ponies on Peacock. Persons of No Interest is what Ponies stand for. Who's in it? It is Amelia Clark and Haley Lou Richardson, and they're like spies in the 70s in the Soviet region. It's very hot. The costumes are awesome. The accents are hot. Everything is great. It's very horny in a way that I very much enjoyed, and I'm going to watch again. So yeah, I want everyone to watch it so I can talk about it more.
How many seasons are out?
It's just one, but I think they're in process of making the second season.
Is it like a crime drama?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good.
Love to
I
hear
can
that.
give more, but I don't want to spoil too much.
Is it like how the ice truck killer killed strippers?
I feel like you're requiring me to have some background information that I do
That's
not
Dexter.
have. Not seen Dexter. I'm so
Watch
sorry.
Dexter.
I've heard Dexter is good.
Dexter's really good, but no. But elaborate. What all did you really enjoy about it?
The characters are interesting. They're very different in ways that complement each other very well. It shows female friendship in a way that I think is fun and different. It also shows that I don't want to ever be married to a spy. I've decided that.
As should Taken.
Yeah, I don't want to be involved in spy life in real life, but it's fun to watch, and I love the 70s era fashion, so that's just fun. But yeah, lady spies in an era that was like not a thing is super fun to watch.
That's also like a time period. I don't know about you guys, but the history I learned in school time just kind of like skipped over all of that stuff.
The perestroika era of Russian life.
Yeah. I mean,
That was maybe a little bit before that, but yeah, it's interesting.
I understand our history classes are very American history centric. However, that I feel like
However is funny. But, however, it's
I do like that.
That's good.
I know, but yeah, no, I feel like there was just something that they were like, all right, here's the big things that happened several thousand years ago. Here's some big things that happened up until like 1900. And then we're going to kind of give you some snapshots.
Yeah,
but
just skip over a
And
whole
all of
bunch
these countries
meat.
change a lot over this decade or two, but don't worry too much
like
about
after
it.
World War II, up until the fucking walls came down, and I guess even after that, like there was just this constant fear of like the red
Soviets.
the red scare and all the witch hunts and everything.
Yeah,
like,
this
we
is
heard
like
about certain McCarthyism and everything.
This
like
is
that.
deep in that era, and it's
just
really fun.
I feel like they kind of just talked about it and they moved on. I'm like, but this happened rather recently.
Yeah,
Like they're like people's parents grew up in this. Like all these teachers grew up in this. They should be able to talk about this from like personal experience. It'd
Not
just
if
be
they
like
don't
how
wanna
we
be on
could
the
kind of
list.
talk about memes and like the evolution.
They were in the Bay of Pigs.
Yeah,
If you got talking about it too much, though, you got added to a list, and then
that is fair. You
Yeah.
didn't want to be considered a
Then-
card-carrying member. of
and
the
then they'd call you a
CCP.
communist, and your career is ruined. So,
Womp womp.
womp womp. But yeah, it's super fun.
Do we still have Peacock from that one time?
Oh fuck, yeah we do. It's like $17 a month.
It is for ad free.
God.
They're all so expensive.
Damn!
I think
It
my
is
Netflix
expensive for
back up to
ad-free.
$25.
Yeah.
I
Why?
recently looked at when streaming services came out
that was
because
fun.
like there is like a I knew that there was a time where I stopped accepting new streaming services. And it was right before Peacock and AMC Plus came out. Those are on the wrong side of
Yeah.
acceptable streaming services
Yeah.
for me. I think I can't remember what it was like. HBO Max or Apple TV Plus came out, and then Peacock and AMC, and I draw the
Yeah.
line right between those.
I respect
those
that. You
things.
got to have boundaries somewhere.
Do you want to rate it or?
Honestly, I give it a 10 out of 10. I'm on the edge of my seat about next season. Gonna watch it again immediately.
Hell yeah.
I watched it all over like a day and a half. It was great.
Gotta love a good binge-worthy TV show because I feel like some TV shows are a chore to finish. I still haven't watched Stranger Things 5 because
I have no
Stranger
desire
Things 4
to.
was a
I think you
chore.
might not need to. If you,
Yeah, that's what I've
if
heard.
you think
Things-
4 was a chore, I don't think
4
you should
was
even
kind
engage
of
with
cool.
5.
4 had cool things, but it's just the way they ended it just like how The Boys ended season like that season 4 or whatever, and then it's just
Yeah.
like there was like a trend of shows like a couple years ago just ending their like the second to last season on like just enough, like they're like, okay, wait for it, stupid.
Yeah,
Whereas the
and
other
like, where like
seasons-
the status quo is pretty similar to like
Yeah.
how it started, and
exactly. Well, and it's like they kind of like the earlier seasons, you don't know if the show is going to get greenlit until it airs. Whereas Stranger Things 4 knew Stranger Things 5 was coming,
Yeah.
so they're like, we can do what we want with this. And you're like, well, it kind of slows down the overall pacing, and now I have to wait 2 years for Stranger Things 5, and then you're going to give me half of it,
Yeah, I hate that.
and then I'm going to have to wait to watch the other half of it like half a month later or something.
that's why I think doing multiple episode arcs is like the perfect way to do a TV show. Like Andor season 2, I guess season 1 did it as well, but I didn't even realize.
Well,
But
Andor is just perfect
Andor
television.
just is a perfect
so.
show. But like it's every 3 episodes, it's like its own arc, and it's such a satisfying
That's nice.
conclusion every time. Do we want to talk about Knights of the Seven Kingdoms?
Haven't finished it yet,
Oh,
but
well,
I'm caught up.
Dude.
I know.
we'll
I
talk
don't
about it
know if
next
I-
time.
You're waiting until they all come out, right?
I think
They're all out? Oh,
There's
well,
only
then why are
6
you not
episodes,
caught
right?
up?
30
I've
minutes.
What's your
seen
excuse?
I've seen two. I've seen 2 of them.
What's your excuse then?
I've been busy.
Well, it's the weekend. Watch them.
They're so
Fine.
short, and there's not that
I'll
many.
finish
of
them tonight.
You
promise.
could fucking finish them on the drive home.
I'm gonna drive home and be like, Egg said what?
I love that actor is really,
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I read the first 2 novellas, and he's pretty much pitch perfect to how I imagined
That's nice.
him. He's so good. Uh,
Love that little bald-headed freak.
I love weird kids. They're so
Yeah.
endearing.
Yeah.
Weird kids are endearing. I agree.
Yeah.
Kids
well,
are the
yeah, the
best.
Knights of the Seven Kingdoms has that perfect archetype of gruff, strong man and little baby, like the Mandalorian,
Yeah.
like
Sweet little guy, big tough guy.
like the new God of War
Mhm.
games, like
Last of Us.
The Last of Us. Yes, exactly. Yeah, which it's a very successful and endearing archetype. We didn't finish any seasons of television, I don't think.
we finished Peacekeeper.
Oh yeah, we did finish a
We
season.
finished first season. She'd never seen Peacekeeper.
I like Peacekeeper a lot more than I expected to.
Peacekeeper both times.
Peacekeeper,
Peacemaker.
the first DLC gun in Black Ops.
Yes,
2.
fantastic. By the way, that was the first gun I got gold in Black Ops 2.
That gun was horseshit. Yeah.
I love that gun.
Brain rot.
But anyways, Peacemaker
like
1.
when she's
We watched Peacemaker
Peacemaker.
season 1.
I think it's fun.
What was that? I didn't hear any of that.
Nothing.
That's just for the audience. I didn't catch that, so whatever. You guys had a secret conversation.
Joey has been talking like a Fortnite kid. And he denied it. And he said,
Keep him honest, Nikki.
I said something was goaded with the sauce. And she's like, why have you been talking like a Fortnite
Nikki,
kid? I'm like,
do you
I
take him out in
haven't."
public like that? That's
he'll
embarrassing.
say things quietly to me or under his breath like a crazy old man. Just nonsense.
Fuck you.
And you said to me,
You said.
point it out the next time I do it. So here I am
You asked for
This is
it.
accountability. That's funny.
on
That's so
live television.
How was Peacemaker season 1?
funny. Peacemaker season 1.
It's fun.
Is fun.
It's the fucking intro dance numbers are amazing. I think every show should have it. It's wonderful and ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. It was a thing where I almost watched it every single time. Like even
Yeah,
we're
that's
going
one
back
intro
and
you don't
watching
like.
it. So that means
Yeah.
I think I've watched Peacemaker season 1 3 times now.
Whoa.
Like
Oh
the
my
second
gosh,
time
I
with
didn't
you,
realize.
or the third time with you. It's one of the best TV shows. I think just in terms of like everything they do everything in it. John Cena plays piano. He dances. It has violence. It has like emotional moments.
It has depth, honestly,
it
in a way that I was not expecting.
It has a little bit of everything, and so
daddy issues.
Yeah.
Resolvement, like they get resolved at the end, kind of. I appreciate that. Aliens, killing aliens.
Yeah.
Government bureaucracy, corrupt but government bureaucracy.
Yeah, the deep state.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I like
it has a little bit of everything, and it does it all well.
And sometimes action movies and TV shows, like the violence, I really don't enjoy, but it wasn't like too much most of the time. Like there were some scenes that were a little gory for me, but that's not really that high of a bar. I think it was well done.
It's a pretty gory show.
It has its
moments
has a
for
lot of
sure.
gore.
I don't fault you for that.
And so, but it's not like the whole thing is like a slaughter fest.
Yeah.
Yes, there are some movies and shows like that.
They have their moments, but like a lot of things were funny. I didn't feel like it was, especially for the time. I felt like it was very on the button with everything that's kind of happening, and it like doesn't feel out of place, or like even rewatching it several years after it came out doesn't feel out of place or like dated or anything. So I feel, and then I'm always just amazed at John Cena's performance. He does such a good job.
They have his dick out quite a few times in that, for real. Bulge. He's just, it's not even just his bulge. He's just, all of him is gigantic, and that's hard not to notice.
He's just the biggest, bulgiest man. Like
it's like hard for him to move around.
His legs are bulges. His face has a bulge. Like he's just a bulging man.
Yeah,
he's just love him for that.
Yeah,
we love him for that. But no, it was fun. It was a lot of good, memorable moments. A lot of funny things to say.
Are you guys moving on to season 2?
Yeah, we watched the first episode of season 2, and so we're gonna.
Have I seen season 2?
No, neither have I. I only watched the first couple episodes, but I do want to. Maybe we'll
that's one.
Get into
hey,
that.
let's finish Knights of Sight.
There you go.
Let's, and I point at myself, and then let's around the table try to finish Peacemaker season 2. But there's an hour-long episodes each, so it might be slow going, and we want to watch it together. So,
do you want to rate season 1?
Season 1, I think it's a 9 out of 10.
Okay, I agree.
There was a couple things that I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, I have some nitpicky things, but I feel as though but other than that, like it was mostly perfect.
I don't have super strong feelings about superheroes, but I liked it. It was good, so I'll agree.
I feel like it was good stuff for people who kind of are getting tired of superhero stuff.
It's definitely different.
It felt like a good palate cleanser.
Amazing. Do you have any more shows? Okay, books. Nikki, how many books have you read in the last week?
I'm still reading the same audiobook.
Listened to.
In the actual last
your notes are so cute.
week.
Is that validating, Nikki?
Yes, thank you. What is a week?
That's real.
Oh, a week is subjective. I don't want anyone commenting that it's there's a fixed definition. Release these when
but maybe you should constrain yourself to the last week, because otherwise
we will be here.
I will do that for the most part, but I do want to mention Tender is the Flesh.
I've heard of that.
Tender is the Flesh.
By
Did you ever read it or listen to it?
Basterica. I listened to it, and it actually made me feel ill.
Really?
And squeamy. And squeamy.
Was that
and
supposed
I
to, though?
am not that person.
What is the premise?
It's like serial killer.
Tender's the Flesh.
Tender's the Flesh is kind of a look at what would happen if the only meat available to consume was other human beings.
Yuck.
Oh.
There's a lot of like parallels to other like sociological issues and stuff, and very interesting as far as like examining that. But the actual like preparing and farming and eating of human beings really got me.
Is it like is this book trying to prove a point, like a vegan point or vegetarian
point?
I don't really think that's the main mission of it.
Okay.
I think it's more of like how quickly, because it's also looking at like, okay, the main person's POV.
There's a lot of P's. Sorry, go on.
That's why we got these filters on these microphones for all the pee talk.
They talk about remembering being a child and eating beef and pork and chicken and stuff.
Oh.
And then by the time they're an adult, it's already like normalized in society to farm humans in like this horrific way. And basically operate the same way that like a meat plant and a meat farm works now, and like a butcher shop and everything.
Yikes.
So that part I think was more, in my opinion, like the main heavy hitter point of it all, not necessarily
How fast like ethics and morals change.
Yeah, I mean there definitely is a point of like, well, look at how horrific it is to farm humans and treat them like we treat, cows and stuff. But sorry, I just don't.
That's not equal, and it shouldn't be.
Right.
Yeah, so this is a dystopian future where we're running out of meat. Like we ran out of meat.
There's a virus situation that affects
Like
like
mad
all animals, but not humans.
Does it kill bugs?
No,
you have to eat them.
No. In fact, there's a cockroach cameo.
They went from
Cockroach
eating.
cameo.
They went to eating people before they ate bugs.
Yeah, they skipped over the bugs.
There was like, they don't focus a whole lot on like the why part, the science part, because it's not really the point, but they do touch briefly on, okay, we can't only eat plants because then we're not going to have all the nutrients we need,
We
which
wouldn't be Americans at that point.
exactly. So yeah, horrific. I did make the mistake of trying to eat a meal.
Oh my God.
Yucky.
When I was
Yikes.
in the last, I thought I was safe, guys. I was in the last like 10 minutes.
Oh,
You're like,
no.
surely this is like climactic. It's not gonna get crazy
And
gross.
I had to stop eating
Wow.
my chicken sandwich
Yeah.
because of this book. So
Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it in like that it did shock me, which I feel like my like threshold for that is really high. So in that way, yes. I mean, I rated it 3 out of 5 stars just because it was a little icky. But it's a good like quick read, and it says a lot about humanity and how horrible we can be.
Would you categorize it as a horror read?
What did I actually categorize it as?
Ooh, you put genres down?
You can put anything down, buddy. It's
Well, I don't know what you do. I don't know
Just
what
because
you
you
do,
can
man.
doesn't mean
Yeah.
good.
I categorize this as horror. You could maybe argue that it's like
Romance.
no,
Sorry.
not that.
Suspense.
There is some. No, it's not even romance. I won't even say that.
Child comedy.
Oh, you could maybe
yucky.
say like it's a little sci-fi-ish, but not
Okay.
not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Would you say more like a thriller? Not necessarily
Yeah.
like a horror, but suspenseful.
I just only have
Sounds
6
horrific.
colors of marker, so there wasn't the option to do horror
There are
and
constraints here.
Birthday.
My birthday's in December.
Joey.
I'll get that for your birthday.
Okay.
Would you? Yeah, okay, you already rated it.
So, yeah, what I actually finished this week is Shadows of Self by Brandon Sanderson, which is the second installment in the
in era 2 of Mistborn.
Era 2 of Mistborn.
Yeah,
so there's
there's
Mistborn.
era 1 is like Victorian-esque trilogy. It is Victorian. I thought
faces.
so.
I guess.
Like pre-industrial
Yeah, no,
revolution.
yeah, that's true. Victorian. Yeah, that's true.
It's just like it's weird to think that those are so close to each other.
Yeah, and it's because most of the time I was reading the Mistborn trilogy, I was imagining more like medieval, but it's not. It's like
yeah,
closer
that's
to,
why
like,
I think
Victorian.
that's why I was.
And then era
scrunching.
2 is a quadrilogy of shorter novels that are more Western.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Okay.
As someone that was raised upon Western films and shows
Love a Western.
against my will
As
at
a
the time.
Westerner.
As a Westerner.
Oh,
as
like
a,
you mean like
Yes.
Western.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, not like
just Western.
not the
No,
Western
yeah.
hemisphere.
Like a
not
Western,
not
like
New
the
World.
Not just
genre.
America.
Not the New World.
Not the new
The
world.
frontier.
like,
Frontier.
there's a new sheriff in
There's a
town.
name.
So
I love Western. That's so funny.
it sets the tone in the second era immediately, where he uses a gun to propel himself, and he drinks, like in the first one they drink like this alcohol solution with metal in it to get their powers, and instead he drinks his with whiskey. So it
That's
immediately
very
sets the tone.
Western.
It's like, hell
Love
yeah.
It's
That's a cowboy.
kind of hilarious the way that he is doing these. But yeah, I really liked it, as I really liked the first one in this quadrilogy. So I'm excited to keep chugging along through the Mistborn series, because I mean, they're excellent. They really are. Very cool magic system.
It is very, and the way they expand upon it in the second era is not incredible. Let's not go crazy. It's really cool though. Let's relax. Let's chill out. But it is really cool where they basically combine two magic systems from the first book, and it's like I don't even know how to describe it. It just immediately it gets your mind going crazy with like all the combinations of powers. Basically, it's like you can have one power from one magic set and one power from another magic set, and the way they combine is like super interesting. And it's all gives Brandon Sanderson like a million he'll never run out of like combinations.
Start talking about Naruto and all their chakra natures and chakra forms and yeah.
There is like in the actual books in the back, the last like 400 pages of the book are just explaining all of the different metals and everything. So pretty awesome.
It's metal-based magic.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That's actually very similar to the book I'm trying to finish right now. I can't wait to talk about it next time.
Can we know what it's called?
Babel.
Babel?
Babel.
That's an R.F. Kuang joint,
R.F.
isn't
Kuang,
it?
yes,
Okay.
it is.
All
It was
right.
recommended to me by a friend of mine who like loves books. Babel. My spelling error.
Have you read that already, Nikki?
No, it's on the list.
It's like so long though. It's taken me like over a month to listen to it in my free time. So it's long, but the magic system is very interesting and unique. So I can't wait to talk about it. It's not a Western though.
The next book I finished.
Wait, would you rate it?
Oh, sorry, 4 out of 5 stars.
Hell yeah.
Go on.
Solid 4 out of 5 stars.
Hell yeah.
The next book I finished was Julie Chan is Dead by Lian Zhang. Excellent. This is a thriller-esque type of a book, looking at what would happen if your twin was a famous influencer and then she died, and then you assume her identity.
That classic scenario.
That's crazy though. That's crazy.
Really good book. It was a really fast listen. Highly recommend, just because of the world that we live in, and like there's some culty stuff going on, and I don't know, it was interesting and kept me in there. And you wouldn't expect it to end the way that it ends. So
I appreciate that.
Like a good
to know.
twist.
then I finished
What'd you rate it?
4 out of 5 stars.
Hell yeah.
Solid 4 out of 5
It's
stars.
nice.
reads.
Then I finished The Road to Tender Hearts, which is one of
I
our
also listened to that. Right.
Ooh,
it's our book club book.
My family did a book club last year, and then we fell off of it at the end of the year, but now we're back on it.
We're back, baby.
We're back. It's our book club book.
Book clubs are hard.
I liked this book a lot.
I loved this book.
It's a found family.
Love a good
I love a good
nice.
found family. It's a found family weird family dynamics.
Those are the best.
If you watched and loved the way I do, Little Miss Sunshine.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Little Miss Sunshine's a good
Classic.
movie.
It is a road trip for
Oh,
a stupid
fun.
reason, just like Little Miss Sunshine.
Fun. Okay. That's a good premise to ride around.
Yes, it is.
And
It
the
forces all the
audiobook.
characters to be in a situation.
Yes.
Like you have to talk to each other.
And it's like sort of time sensitive. That's fun.
There's
Yeah.
also a fun, like, semi-sentient creature paranormal situation.
Yes, yeah. Like, does it start the book with that?
Yeah, the very first,
Jeez Louise. Is that a bad dream?
No, I moved my leg.
it opens up with
W-
POV of a cat.
of a cat who can
Oh.
sense death.
Yes.
Oh.
The angel of death.
Yeah, so it's a really interesting. I don't think I've ever read a like truly omniscient third person book before, where literally you're jumping into everybody in the scene's mind kind of randomly as you go. It's like literally anybody, like they meet new people, and then we like get their POV for like a paragraph, and just like learn random weird things about them that make them like feel like real people with lived experiences, and then it just hops right back to the main characters. And
I wonder
continues on.
how that would be different actually reading it with your eyeballs versus listening to it, because
Yeah, that sounds confusing. I was just about to ask if it was confusing.
It got a little confusing, but it starts those POV switches with I feel like very deliberately like with the name of the person or like the person they're switching to. It's like this person is thinking this because they've had this weird experience. Lots of serious themes about alcoholism.
Yes.
And
Grief and loss.
Losing a child. Dealing with losing a child.
Yeah. Abuse stuff.
Winning the
trigger
lottery.
warning. But it was excellent, and the audiobook was great, and it's narrated by an old man voice.
Yeah, he's
so
like 100,000 years old. He has
kind
a very
of. This is really one where I will,
pretty gravelly voice.
because I listened to Joey's one-time speed listening to it. This is a bump that baby up a little bit kind
Well,
of
if you speed him up, he sounds younger.
he sounds like a normal conversation.
Slow audio readers are hard.
I just don't believe in speeding up audiobooks. I just won't do it.
Yeah.
I usually don't, but sometimes it's like hard to listen to if you don't.
We have a friend who pretty much watches all his YouTube videos at 2 times speed.
Who
if
does
not
that?
Faster.
That's
God.
I expected it to be.
Like he's like, why would I sit through a 30-minute YouTube video when I could break it down in 15 minutes? And I'm like, because you're gonna talk like this. And
I was gonna say,
like, what
isn't
about
he
the really slow parts? And I'm
anxious?
like, so you'd rather the normal parts sound weird so that the fast part or the slow parts sound faster? I don't know. But also his Alexa is like that too. His Alexa.
Well, that's
How
just
did he
fucking
do that?
funny.
Well, he's
That is really funny.
He's like, Alexa, set the garage to green. And like, start to green. You're like, what?
Well, I don't want to listen.
That
to
is
that.
fucking
You're like,
funny as fuck.
Alexa, play Killing in the Name of. And you're like, play Killing in the Name of. What? And you're like, what? it's like 4 times speed.
It's awesome.
crazy. I don't know how you get to do that, but it's nonsense.
No. But yeah, highly recommend that one. It was a good little palate cleanser after some spooky stuff I've been listening to.
What was it called again?
The Road to Tender Hearts by Annie Hartnett. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars.
Oh, wow,
Hell
that's a good
yeah.
one.
Which is a rarity. And then the book I finished today, while I was
Wow.
prolonging your wait for me to be here, was Jade City by Fonda Lee. Excellent fantasy book that is so out of the realm of any fantasy book I've ever read. It's like Asian mafia with stone magic type really cool stuff, really good
Okay.
This is
character
Eastern.
development.
Actually, Eastern.
Eastern, sure.
Actually, East.
Not Western, Eastern. It's like kind of modern time. I don't know how modern it is. Doesn't really matter, but the world building is cool. The like clan stuff is cool. And it's a trilogy, so I'm excited to read the next installment when it's available for me on Libby in 18 weeks.
Hell yeah. Jesus. What did you rate it?
4 out of 5.
4
I
out of
probably
5. What
would.
a 4
I
out of
probably
5s.
would give it a solid 4 out of 5. Maybe. No, but 4
What
out of
about
5.
out of 3? What would you give it?
A 2.
Okay. It's telling.
That's everything kind of that I read in the last week.
I have not finished any books. I have a few more hours of a very long audiobook left.
How many hours was it?
21, I think. And I have not had 21 hours of free time lately.
So you read any books?
Not much of a nerd, so I don't really read.
Nerd.
No, I just
Gotcha.
We're going to start
I don't
throwing
know.
stones, bitch.
Fuck you!
And
No,
how many hours did we spend gaming?
Not many, but no, I just don't have. But I've been. I
Jerk.
don't know. It's not much that I. I can't be like I just learned this song, you know. So I don't really. I spend a lot of time.
What
doing
songs
that.
did you beat this week?
What songs did I beat this week? I beat Santeria by Sublime.
Nice.
That the guitar solo isn't. It's deviously hard. It doesn't seem it's not actually hard. It's a lot of like finger techniques that you can kind of make it seem like it's going really fast. There is a little part in there that is near impossible to play, but just kind of muscled through that. But yeah, it's a lot of like moving your fingers to make it sound really fast, but technique wise, as long as you can get that down, it's not so bad. But
how many stars would you give it?
How many stars would I give that? I love that song. I'll give it 5 stars. The song's great.
It's a good one.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Other than that, does anyone else have anything else?
You beat any video games?
Beat any video games? I beat the Resident Evil 3 remake. And so that is the perfect combination of the Resident Evil 2 remake and Resident Evil 4 remake. So Resident Evil 2 is more, you feel more powerless, and it's more puzzle based, and it's more horror based. Resident Evil 4 is more about, it's like an action video game about maxing out and getting like super cool. There's all these different guns and all these different little side quests and things like that. So it just feels more of like a video game as opposed to like
who do you play as in 4?
Leon. You play as Leon in 2 and 4.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that, because that's literally what Resident Evil 9 is. It's literally you switch between 2 different characters, one who's more helpless, one who's Leon.
Yeah, and Leon is just slaughter. It's a slaughter fest is what I've seen.
Yeah.
It's just that he is just out there just murdering, and Grace is like fighting for her life to be at any like
okay, unless you watched
to
the
herself.
Nintendo Direct that had it, because they didn't show him actually hit any zombies. They only showed him shoot around them. Like they didn't want to show, I guess,
like the actual blood and violence.
So they just show him shooting near zombies.
Crazy.
But you liked 3?
I like 3. I think 3 is like the speedrun game. You can, because there's literally an achievement to beat it in under 2 hours.
Wow.
So there's just a game to beat quickly. It's not, I wish it was longer, but at the same time I kind of respect that it isn't, because it takes too much from 2. It feels like it was kind of like an afterthought of 2. Like 2 happened and they were like, well, we can just throw 3 out real quick. And so it has all the fun of the new Resident Evil engine, which is fun, which makes it, I think it's still good.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think it's a little weaker and doesn't really have its own identity beyond maybe being the fast one.
Does it have Nemesis? Is it the Nemesis one?
Yes, Nemesis is in it. But Nemesis is cool, but 2 has a big guy that follows you
right,
around
yeah.
also.
Oh, yeah, so
there's
never mind.
Nemesis is a little different. There's more boss fights with Nemesis that are kind of more unique.
Yeah.
And those are the kinds of ones to fight for. But the cool thing about 3 is that you switch between Jill and Carlos. And so with Carlos, it's kind of more, you feel a little bit more prepared, because he's like a guy who comes in like geared up. So they give you an assault rifle that has max ammo, and they just give you grenades, they give you everything. They're like, go have fun and go kill, go have a good time. And then with Jill, it's like, all right, we're scraping together everything that we can get. And so, yeah, it's just it could have been a little longer, could have been better, but I think for the most part,
Would you rate it?
Serviceable. I think I gave it a 6 out of 10. Whereas I think Resident Evil 2 is like an 8 out of 10, and then Resident Evil 4 is like a 9 out of 10.
What were you playing the other day, Joey?
Resident Evil 8.
Oh,
Resident
okay.
Evil
I don't
8
think
Village.
I don't think I care for Resident
It
Evil
made
games
me
in general.
not want to go down in the basement to do the laundry.
It scared you.
Have you played Resident Evil 7 yet?
I actually did. That's definitely the furthest I've made it in a Resident Evil game was 7, and that shit is scary.
It
Shit
is.
is scary.
7 is
it's like
very,
fuck.
very
I
scary.
really don't want to turn this corner. I don't want to go into
Exactly.
this place. I'm gonna get fucking killed by these hillbillies.
Mm-hmm. You should play 2. If you like this, if you liked the how far you could make it in that, play 2. And if you really dig 2, you're gonna love 4, because 4 is just better in terms of the accessibility to all the different. There's like a cool parrying system. Like it just, you feel more of like, because Leon's had training. Like he's now a badass, and he has all this weapon mastery and all this. You can do all this cool shit. Whereas in 2, you're kind of just your first day on the job, and the city's gone to shit. So, yeah, I was never a big Resident Evil fan until these remakes started coming out, and then I played 2, 3, and 4, and I've gotten almost all the way through 7, and then I'll be doing 8, and I beat 5, so I've beaten 5, and then I think 5 is where people kind of started losing hope. 5 came out and it was okay. It was the co-op one, and then 6 came out and people hated 6.
Yeah.
and then 7 came out.
7 like revived the series.
It, made it first person. People loved it. 8 came out. I feel like 8 is related to 4 and 7 is more related to 2 in terms of like the style. Because I think 8 is still scary. It has like its horror moments, but it is kind of more like Ethan's a badass. He's done this before.
And I feel that takes some of the horror away from it. You feel less helpless.
Yeah.
But yeah, that series is so hot. That series is so hot. Why can't all video game companies just do what they're doing with Resident Evil?
Yeah. Well,
why do you got to spend 8 years to make a fucking game?
9 came out, and it's the best rated game in all of them. I think at this time, it's the highest rated. So it's just
sickens me.
They're just we can make good games. We can make good games. We can make good movies. We can make good books. We can make good TV shows.
They're choosing not to. They're holding back.
I watch almost everything on Dropout, and I love it.
Yeah,
Dropout's great.
Did you see Dropout has its first licensed content? They're licensing the Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared series.
I saw that they put that on Dropout. I didn't realize it was licensed now.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep. I haven't beaten any games. I've been playing Arc Raiders, but I guess I'll never beat Arc Raiders.
Yeah, Arc Raiders is fun.
I like Arc Raiders. I just
How
like
good's
going
your
in
internet here.
Huh?
How good's your internet here?
It's pretty good. It drops a little bit randomly, which is cringe, but whatever.
I live close by. I can confirm it does happen.
All she had to do was call and freak out at Spectrum, and they went,
yeah.
we're so sorry.
Oh, it's
Spectrum.
Spectrum.
It is Spectrum.
They'll just do. I think they just do
That's
that.
all you have to
I think
tell me.
Spectrum is
Are
particularly
you able to
bad
get
about
AT&T here?
Nope. Not that I know of.
It's a scam.
You should make sure you can't, because AT&T is like
We
significantly better.
We did go through, and she
Yeah.
cannot
Okay,
get it.
that sucks.
But we went through and we were looking at it, and Spectrum will just intentionally do that to you. They will, if they notice, like for instance, this is a house that you don't normally live in, and so people don't normally live in it for extended periods of time and like consume internet here a lot. So what they see is this house doesn't do much bandwidth, so they go, okay, we don't send as much there. Or if there's outages, we can just kind of out it there, and we can kind of like divert our flow of internet to other places, and then you just call and complain about it,
great.
and it's magically fixed. You're like, wow! All of a sudden, I got faster speeds. It's more reliable.
They're nice enough on the phone.
They just want to make sure that you're using it, and they'll test you.
Make sure you're paying attention.
Yeah.
I think we can end it there. Do we have any other medias that I forgot about?
We talked about books, TV shows. We've talked about movies. We talked about video games.
How's the live music you saw yesterday?
Live music. We went to
It was fun.
Pogues tribute. Pogues are an Irish band. We went to a Pogues tribute
It was
for
fun.
St. Patrick's Day.
Nice.
And it was fantastic.
The corned beef
Mine and
was
Joey's boss
amazing.
was the bass player,
That's awesome.
and they were great. Had a good time.
It was a good time.
I went up and I got a vodka Sprite, and I watched her just pour a shot, and then a second one, and then the third one was coming out and almost finished, and she took it off.
Hell yeah.
We did dance a little bit because we were both drinking.
Yeah.
Because it was fun. It was a nice little time.
It was
Love
fun.
to hear it.
The corned beef there was fantastic.
It was delicious.
They had corned beef and cabbage. They ran out of cabbage for my plate. I know that she loves cabbage.
I love
so
cabbage. And they had
gave-
rye
I was
bread.
like,
It
let
was
her have
wonderful.
it. They gave me extra vegetables.
What is
so.
corned beef?
So
We looked it up.
We looked it up. Corned beef specifically refers to whenever you salt cure beef. And so the specks of salt are known as corns over in England. And so the corns made it corned beef.
Is it English or is it?
English. Well, it's not necessarily.
I was gonna say, we're getting into controversial
we
territory.
We're looking into it, and it's probably been used for several thousand years potentially as just a way of salt preserving beef.
Oh, okay.
And so yeah, it's typically like a briskety area, and then you
Delicious.
just you cure it with salt.
Excellent. Rate it out of 5. The corned
The
beef.
corned beef,
Corned
5 out of
beef?
5. It was delicious.
Okay, what about the show?
The show, 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Great show. 4 out of 5. It was fun. It was. They were drinking.
Everybody was having a good
They're all
time.
doing they're Americans doing Irish accents when they're singing these songs,
Which is
And
hilarious.
So there was one guy in particular. He sang and he had a beer in his hand the whole time. So he had a
Hell
microphone
yeah.
and a beer, and he was just singing. and he at most points was like, like it's like you could catch one out of every 30 words. Like it was
Awesome.
And then they were swapping, so they had like 6 different microphones up there for different vocalists. They brought up some other like random, they're like, now we're gonna bring up this guy who's gonna play guitar and sing, and they're like, now we're gonna bring this person who's gonna play the hammered dulcimer.
Rotating stage
and
was
then
fun.
so they had a bunch of people. So there was at minimum they were a 9-piece.
And like some of them were
That's
siblings.
crazy.
They all seemed to have a very
there
fun
was some
time
siblings
together.
in there. There was like a guitar, a bass player, a drummer, a keyboard player, a
An
fiddler,
accordion?
a mandolin.
They all end up with
accordion,
$8 a piece.
A tin, some tin whistles sometimes,
Dude, I love a
Jeez.
good tin whistle.
and then just the vocalist.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, Josiah, do you want to outro us? Give
I
us
will.
the prepared outro.
Yes, I have the prepared outro.
People can email us at
At
whatwebeatlastweek@gmail.com.
yes, you can. We will accept submissions of any kind. You have.
If you disagree with anything we said or if we said anything incorrect,
Or
Feel
you
free
want
to
us
comment
watch something?
on our YouTube channel and or anywhere where we post this. And then the emails, suggestions, submissions, little things that we should do, that we shouldn't do. We're getting used to this, so any
Positive.
feedback is preferred.
Positive affirmations.
Please be nice.
Preferred.
So
Please.
if you're going to direct it towards Nikki and Rachel, please be very nice. But if you're going to be mean, me and Joey want to be the ones.
Yeah.
we can take
Oh.
it.
Yeah.
We can
Well,
take it.
Direct
Okay.
it towards us. We can handle it.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah, no. I just, you know,
Looking out for you.
it's hard. It's hard out there.
It's hard being a woman.
Hard being a woman.
On that note,
On that note,
Thanks.
Happy International Women's Month.
thank you,
next
everyone. See you next week.
do we need room tone?
Room tone. Yeah, we can get a little bit of room tone.
We just sit here silently. Stop it.
I'm cranking up the gain on the microphones so we can get ambient sound.
Stop it. We can get that afterwards.
What does he have to say?
Be quiet. We just need like 10 seconds. That's gotta be enough. That's fine.
We'll get it.
I can hear little sounds from him.